So for this tutorial, you're going to need, I found this little note holder at the Dollar Tree. It has all kinds of different covers. I picked this one because I was just going to use it like that, but I'm sacrificing it for this craft just for you guys, okay? So it won't be a big sacrifice, just so you know. I want you to find these. I don't know what the measurements are on it. It's, hang on, let me go over here. Appears to be about 9 inches by about 3, 9 by 3, right? And then it opens up like this. Now, what I did notice, and this is why I'm doing this, is that some of the printables will cover basically the whole thing. So I think we can make a new cover for these. So if you can get these sort of ugly covered ones at the Dollar Tree and you don't love it, you can't find one that you like, you can make your own. And that's what we're going to be attempting to do today. So I'm going to figure out where I want it. I'll just decide I think I want, let's move this out of the way. Laminator sheet, one side only, right? So you don't want it double-sided laminated. That'll be too hard to work with. So this is how my laminator works. I can do a single side. So I've got this and I'm like, where do I want that to be? So I'm going to, I need to be able to fold it over, right? So keep that in mind. And then you can see there's a little bit of an edge there. I'm going to be able to fold that inside. That's the plan, okay? This is the plan. We'll see how it goes. So with my laminator, I need to pull this plastic piece, get this off. This is take 2, guys. I'm not going to tell you what happened to take 1. All right. So it has a dull side and a shiny side. I want the dull side against my print. That's kind of the adhesive side. All right. And cover that up. There we go. So it's going to be shiny when it's done, which is cool. And it's going to be not necessarily waterproof, but definitely fingerprint proof and things like that. Right? Then I put it in here. Again, your laminator may be different. If you're using the sheets, the stick-on sheets from the dollar store, you just want the one side. So I'm going to put this in. We're going to let it go through. We're just making sure it's nice and flat while it cools, so it doesn't cool with a bend in it, right? That's cool. I mean, just for a second, you just have to flatten it out and make sure it's on a flat surface. Take this away. All right, so it is laminated. What I need to do now is just, it cools really quickly. Pull this up. And now I have a fingerprint proof, well, it's like a little more resistant. It's not just paper that's going on here now, okay? It's going to be a little more protected. That's the only reason we're doing it. You can totally just do the print and put it on. That's completely up to you, okay? So I have this, and I'm going to turn it over. This side is still paper, okay? This side's all plasticky and protected. This side still is paper, right? So that's exactly what we want. So I can stick this to this, okay? I'm going to put it on here. Now I need to, I haven't done this before. Oh, fake nails, guys. That's what happens when you're wearing them. I'm going to trim the edges off the bottom and the top first. I'm going to leave them on the sides though, because I'm going to be able to use that hopefully to work with, right? Like I say, if this doesn't work out, you'll never see this video. That's just how I roll. So I'm going to put this in here so I can trim the top and the bottom off. Where is that line? You can use your scissors, right? I'm just going to use this fancy gadget. Ooh, look at that, right? And I'm going to do the bottom too. So just so I'm rid of these pieces that are uh, just the white. There's always that trim, there's always that thing that happens when you're printing, that margin that prints out. I have not found a way yet to defeat it, but I'm okay with it. I'll just work around it. All right, so we don't have the margin at the top or the bottom anymore. So we are working with entirely what we want. I'm going to have to trim it one more time. So I want this, and let's see, well, that's going to be on the back. Or no, that'll be on the front. Okay. That's going to be on the front, right? So I'm good with that. So I want this bottom part to stay. All right, so I'm going to line this up with the bottom. Take a pencil so I can see where I need to cut this off for the top. Okay. So back to our fancy gadget. The tools you get to buy when you're a business crafter. So I'm going to turn this over so I can see that line that I've just cut or that I've drawn to make sure I get it. This should hopefully give me exactly the right size that I'm looking for. Fingers crossed. There we go. Okay. So now it should be cut down to size for this. All right, so it looks pretty good. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is, if you want, you can use a tacky glue spray, right? I would spray it on the book, not on the paper, okay? If you spray it on the paper, it's very likely it's going to seep through, and if you use an inkjet, it might run your ink. So I would spray it on the back of this book here and then put my paper on top, okay? I'm actually going to pull this pen out. It's in my way right now. But for the sake of the fact that I don't want to be spraying glue inside my studio right now, I'm going to use the good old glue stick. And we're going to give that a try. It may not hold entirely, right? But that's okay. Like I say, normally I would just use this, okay? So let's sacrifice this to the crafts. Don't forget to get the center there. Now, the reason I only did one side is so the paper will stick to this, but also because it'll be too inflexible if I laminated both sides, okay? So there we go. Now I'm going to grab line it up. Now, remember to leave that, you want that margin to kind of go around, so you could even flip it over so you can see that you have the margin on both sides, because we're going to, once this is dry, we're going to flip that over. Let's line that up. Okay, so for now, I just want to do this, and I want to close the book. All right, like that. I'm going to put some clamps on it and maybe some weight, right? So you could score the back if you want to. But for now, while I wait, I'm going to put some clamps on it so it dries closed, so that this part is functional. Again, that's the plan. All right, so I think you could totally actually trim that edge off if you wanted to really measure it out and do that. That might be worthwhile. So I'm going to grab a gift card or an oh, I know. I'll use a craft stick, and we're going to use that to help score this a little bit better. So see, I've got it up against my body, and I'm just using this to score right along that edge to make it look a little sharper. All right, so we're going to do it other side too. So now it looks a little bit better, I guess. So to make sure you've got lots of clamps and the glue is drying properly. If you need more, put it on. I don't think this glue is going to be heavy enough. I think you will need a heavier duty glue. Right? So there we go. And once this is dry, you can open it up and fold these around right into along that edge. Or in my case, I think I'm just going to trim it off, right? Because I don't think it really matters that much, but that's up to you, okay? You want to fold it over and wrap it around. It's going to be a little tricky, because it's still a little stiff, right? And I didn't get mine 100% right here. It's a bit too far over this way. So be careful. See, that's not quite long enough on this side. Let's see if I can get this apart now. Nope. All right. So my advice to you is make sure this side, the front side, will fold over before you worry about the glue. Okay, so do this, get it the way you want it, so it'll glue down properly, and then the back side is a little less important. I am going to grab this instead, and I'm going to just go right along there, and I'm going to score that right off. Oops, right through my neck. Don't you love how I craft, you guys? All right, so there, that looks just fine too. Okay, as long as it's glued down properly. So let's do the same thing over here. This is how we save the day. Ta-da! Try not to cut through your elastic like I did. All right, put your pen back in, and voila! Now your notebook is covered in something that's protective, but also cute. Now, like I said, if you're a little more careful than me, you can wrap it around so you won't have this edge to contend with, right? But I usually leave it on my desk open anyway. It's not something I carry in my purse, so that's the kind of thing that this is for. So hopefully you find that interesting and maybe you make one for yourself or you think about notebooks in a new way. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video.